Oh, all right. Boom podcast.
Boom podcast.
Between you and me.
Between you and me.
All right. So,
Sit back, son.
yeah, sit back. Get off my mic. My mic is hot.
Mm-hmm.
So we started last week with some, I guess, random questions.
Yep. Ask a boom.
Ask a boom. Okay, ask a boom. So we started with some ask a booms. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And so we went through a series of questions and answers that different people had sent us.
Right.
And I mean, I had fun doing it. I think it was pretty cool.
I had fun too. It was cool.
Yeah,
nice hearing from people.
Yeah, it was nice hearing from people. So that's just a plug. I mean, if y'all want to send in some more questions,
Yeah, we're always open to answer questions, any topics.
Yeah,
anything.
Any questions or topics, or if you want to come on and talk to a bum, we can talk to you too. So, but we're gonna try to finish this list off because we had a kind of extensive list, and so
this is part two.
Part two. We're gonna try to finish this list off. All right. So, the first question or the next question is, how can you project if your business idea will be profitable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you? How
you want to answer it?
Yeah, I want you to answer since you got your own business.
All right. So through experience, and also just from hearing from different people, because I watch a lot of course, I talk about interviews a lot on this show, podcasts, and all that type of stuff that I listen to, and I listen and watch a lot of people that are entrepreneurs or people that own businesses, and the way that people I often hear it put is, if you see a need and you can fulfill that need. So if you're starting a business, you see, what's the word? Like it's a really solid need. Like it's something there really is a need for it, and not something that you're just making up in your head that you feel maybe possibly. But like, no, if you're going out every day and you see like there's a problem and there needs to be a solution, and your business is solving, like your business is that solution, then I think that's a good marker of knowing whether or not it can be successful.
Okay, I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I'm gonna add to that. It's something I used to keep on my board. Problem is what you said.
Right.
Problem, pain, because problems cause pain.
Right.
Cause pain. Right. There's a prescription. Right. So you find a prescription, then you provide the proof, and then people make the purchase.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's sort of along the same lines that you said, but that, like, if you just look at it from the perspective of having 5 P's, and so for the 5 P's, like if you can identify a problem, right, and then when you identify the problem, when you see the problem, identify the pain, what's causing the problem, the pain that causes the problem, right, and then you develop a prescription for that pain, because people will pay for a prescription for the pain. But once you develop a prescription, you're going to have to prove that your prescription works better than anybody else's prescription, at least for that pain. And then people will make a purchase. And so
I think there's a great formula for that.
Yeah, so if I'll just use that as how can you project if your business idea will be profitable? In order for it to be profitable, you got to, first of all, identify the problem, then see where the pain is coming from, develop a prescription for that pain, offer proof that your prescription works, and then people will make the purchase, and I think that'll get you profitable. All right, so that's cool.
That's a good answer.
All right, good. Rolling light it on.
Can you unravel that cord real quick?
I could if you'd like me to.
Yes, I would.
All right, I'm gonna do it for you. All right, is it done? No,
That's cool.
All right, it's cool.
It's just like that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just like that. All right, so cool. So the next question, you're just trying to get away from.
Whatever.
When do you know that you are ready for marriage? When do you know that you're ready for marriage? You got to know you're ready for a girlfriend first, but I'll just, go ahead.
It's funny because the difference is we're actually recording this one on a different day. And so before, when we did the first questions, it was closer to the time where we had compiled the list and organized it and all that. And so now it's kind of more of a, I don't remember seeing this one type thing. And so my immediate response to it was, it reminded me of a podcast we did before. What was the name of that podcast? It might have been What Makes a Man or something like that. But just talking about how people, or at least men, get married when they feel, and I can't remember the word.
Oh, yeah.
What was the word?
Oh, man, hold on. So men get married.
It's
I don't remember, man.
I can't remember for the life of me. It's like when you feel comfort, when you feel consistency, when you feel, what's the word? I can't think of the word.
Yeah, man.
It's the perfect word.
It was.
But basically, when you feel stable, I think is a
Stability.
good
Stability.
stability.
That was it. That was it. It was
Aha.
stability. Yeah.
We do this.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, the word was stability. I think a good mark for knowing, for one, is just, I think it almost comes to like two different parts, maybe more parts of it, but you need to know that you're ready within the relationship and then ready within your life for something as large as marriage. Marriage is not only a relational thing, but it's a financial thing and all kinds of other things. And so I feel like when you're talking, I honestly, it's kind of stability throughout the whole thing. When you're talking relationship, it's like, does this person make me feel stable? Do we work well together? Do our lives intertwine in a good way that we can project that we'll be able to work this out for the foreseeable future? This is something that's worth investing in to the point of marriage. And then you got a look on your face.
I got 1,000 thoughts going through my head. Go ahead.
Yours is a little different.
It could or could not be. It's just 1,000 thoughts running through my head.
And then I would say, now getting to the marriage, the documents, the financial, and all of that, I feel like that is taking a look at your situation as the two of y'all. What does our situation look like? Can we afford a wedding right now? All of these type of things, because at the end of the day, a relationship is a relationship, and the marriage is not the make or break of that relationship. You can be in a relationship knowing that you're going to get married, but knowing that you're also not in the perfect place life-wise, financially, and all of that to get married right now. And so I think when it's a combination of, you have that stability of relationship and stability of life, that's a good time to get married.
Okay.
But what is your answer, sir?
I don't know.
With your
I don't
over
know.
there smirking
I don't
and
know because
looking around.
so I was thinking like, will you ever know if you're ready? Was my thought, right?
I feel that.
And so it's like, I think in most cases or in a lot of cases, the decision to get married is an emotional decision, and emotional decisions, whereby emotional decisions are great, emotional decisions aren't always long lasting, right? And so that was the thought that went through my head, and then I was thinking, marriage is a marathon and not a sprint,
Right.
okay? And so when you decide to get married, whether it's an emotional decision, you like, yes, I'm to say.
So I feel like especially when you're talking about it in that way, it's easy to have the feeling. It's easy to feel like you want to get married. It's harder to know that you're ready to get married.
Right.
Because you can feel like you want to be married right now, but in relationships and in marriage, you don't always feel like being married. And so you kind of have to think about it through the lens of
real talk.
Like, really, that's why stability is such a big word. Can we be stable together throughout any of this?
Right.
And so it's. Sometimes you have to kind of, through all of your emotion, all that. I feel good right now, but now we have to, when we're looking about going to this next step, which is such a huge step, I want to try to lay out like this logic side and these data points and all that, and kind of almost try to make that stand on its own, even though I kind of have a bias. Sometimes you might need to talk to someone else.
And I think you got to make the decision and make the decision, stick with it. I mean, like one of my mantras is, I'm a man of my word, even if it costs me personally.
Right.
Right. And so my thing is like, is there a V1? Right? Is there a V1? Could be. It could be. It might not be the one you are with. Right. It might not be the one you decide to marry.
When you make the decision,
but when you make the decision,
it's a decision of integrity.
It's a decision of integrity. You got to stick with it. And my thing is, if you understand, again, like I was about to say, marriage is a marathon and not a sprint. Right. If you understand that, you're going to have bad days, but you can have more good days than bad days, right? It's funny. I just saw this thing today, and it was this guy. He was saying he wanted to commit suicide, right? And suicide is a real situation, and it's a real bad thing for guys because we get depressed and we don't talk about it. Right. But that's not one of our questions. But this was talking about it. But the guy asked him, did he play video games when he was growing up? And he said, yeah. He said, what video games did he play? He said, Super Mario Brothers. He said, Super Mario Brothers. And so he started talking about when Super Mario Brothers, like there were many times where Super Mario Brothers hit the brick wall. There are many times when Super Mario Brothers fell down, right? Yeah. Did you quit? Or did you try to keep going until you won the game?
Right.
And so the object of what he was trying to say was, like, in life, we're going to hit brick walls, we're going to fall down, we're going to get disappointed, but we don't quit.
Keep going.
Right? I mean, when we're playing video games, when we're playing the other games, we don't quit, turn around and go home. We keep playing until we win. We even, like, I know I've seen you, we watch video tutorials on how to win the game.
Yeah, sometimes
you know what I'm saying?
You got to get into the literature.
I mean, you got people that even go and buy cheat code books and that kind of stuff, right? And so that's my thing about marriage. It's like, when you decide that you want to get into the game, whatever decision you made to get into the game, do whatever you have to do to win at your marriage, at that marriage that you made the decision to take.
Are you going to do what it takes to get through it? Or are you going to do what it takes to get through those bad times to the better times and like really build a strong foundation? And also, is that other person going to do the same thing? Are you both equally invested?
Right.
Good marker.
All right, cool.
Good answer, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good answer.
So how do you leave a toxic relationship when you're madly in love?
Oh, it's slower than I thought I put it. All right, go ahead.
All right, how do you leave a toxic relationship when you're madly in love? I can't tell you because I've never been in one, right? But, I mean, I really can't. I mean, I'll say seek help.
Oh, well.
Seek help. You know what I'm saying? Because I can imagine that being in a toxic relationship, people have been beat down so bad emotionally that it's hard. It's almost like, and this is going to be a real bad analogy, but I'm going to use it nonetheless. They talk about like elephants, right? When elephants are babies, they put shackles around their legs and they tie them to a stump. These are circus elephants, by the way. And they put shackles around their leg and they tie them to a stump. And so they condition them to having this chain around their leg, and they can't go anywhere. And so by the time they get a little older, they take the chain off. They don't even have to they don't have to need the chain anymore because they've been conditioned that they can't go anywhere. And that's what I imagine an abusive relationship is like. Like, you've been so conditioned that you can't do any better than the person you're with. Right. And they beat you down so bad emotionally because they knew that they had the upper hand. And so all I can say in that situation, you can seek help. Please seek help because you're better than that situation. I will tell you that. I mean, everybody has somebody that loves them. Everybody has somebody that loves them. And so if you're in a relationship, you got to, first of all, you need to recognize the first time it happens. Right. The first time somebody tries to devalue you, because when they try to devalue you the first time, or when they put their hands on you the first time, it's a test. It's a test. And so don't let it come a second time. Right. If it happens the first time, if you stay, the moment it happens the next time, walk away. Like, just like, look, you'll say, I saw it. I saw it the first time. I thought it was an anomaly. No, we're not going to do this again. Because honestly, that's not love. Right. That's not love. It's control. Right. And there's no love side to that control.
Yes. And I want to kind of even talk about, because you talked about toxic as far as even going to the extreme of abusive and all that, but even like there's other kinds of, I guess, toxic relationships, and it might not be, the sign might not be them putting their hands on you or things like that. It might be how they speak to you, or like it can be a variety of different things. How do they treat other people, like people that you're in relationship with. There's many different markers, many different signs of kind of, this isn't really the best situation for you to be in. And I think it takes, you always kind of have to have your eyes open, because relationships are a thing of emotion. And so it's easy to get locked in emotion and not really pay attention to things. And so it takes, you really have to force yourself to keep your eyes open to make sure that you're noticing any red flags, any signs, that type of thing. And when you're in that stage, when it's early on, it's easier to separate from that. But I know as humans, we do this thing where, I don't know, we understand being content for right now, or we understand the location where we're at right now, and we fear the uncertainty of the future. And just understanding that if you feel bad, there's a better feeling out there.
Yes.
If you feel bad, you're not locked into that feeling. It's not true that you can't find somebody else. It's not true that there's not anybody better for you. Even I would liken it to, like, if you feel like the bad times are bad, the good times are good, but the situation is something that seems iffy about the situation, know that if you leave this situation, the good times that you feel will be better somewhere else, because there's better out there for you.
True that. And
sometimes it takes definitely getting help. But at a certain point, it takes taking that leap. You kind of have to commit and do it.
Right.
So if you got to block them people, block them.
Block them.
Don't unblock. don't be toxic yourself. Don't be doing the blocking, unblocking thing.
Yeah. And
It's
it's one
trash.
more thing I'm gonna drop on you because it's funny and toxicity comes from this hurting people hurt people.
Yeah.
Hurting people hurt people, and so there's something innately wrong with, or something wrong with the person that's causing the toxic that they need to seek help as well. So I'll say that. The next one says, "How is dating in?" This was when somebody told me to ask you. I guess.
All right.
How is dating in your generation versus dating in my generation?
So you want me to answer first?
Yeah, tell me how dating is in your generation.
No. Well, because I was gonna say, I mean, you're the only person that's been in both generations, so you can kind of see the difference.
Yeah, but if you could tell me what dating is like in your
Yeah.
city, I'd be like, nah, man, we ain't do that crap.
So I feel like it's getting rough out here.
It's rough out here.
It's getting rough out here. Just because, not even just on relationship things, but just the paradigms of our society at this point. We're a lot of for instant grits people, if that makes sense.
For instance, okay.
All right, so let me break it down for y'all. So basically, everybody wants everything right now,
Yeah.
and all the time. Like we have everything's just about. Hey, it's all about right now. I don't want to like streaming for one. Streaming, the big upside to streaming, there's no commercials.
Right.
There's no waiting for the benefit.
Right.
And everything that we do, and then we have like dating apps and all that. It's all about all right, swipe right, swipe left, like just scrolling through people like it's nothing. It's just a means to
devalue people.
Yeah, it's a means to me feeling what I want to feel right at this moment. And so I feel like a lot of that, the instant grits situation or the thing that we're searching for makes it harder for us to develop real relationships and for us to kind of have that mindset of things could be uncomfortable right now. Just like with relationships, there's bad times in relationships, there's good times in relationships. And because everybody's so instant grits, I want them to feel good right now and all the time. It's kind of that foundation can be weak, and all right, this person's not doing it for me right now. I'm just immediately gonna go get somebody else, and so I feel like that's that might be something that is a little bit different or a little bit worse now. But other than that, I would say kind of everything's the same under the sun. Like our problems are probably the same, but just different based on like technology or different things like that.
So
Nothing new under the sun.
I'm gonna go somewhere different, only because I agree with you.
Okay.
Right. So I'm gonna go somewhere different so we can give it another perspective. There are no real pictures of Prince Charming anymore. There are no real pictures of Prince Charming anymore. There are no real pictures of Cinderella anymore, or whoever your queen is. Because like in my generation, first of all, there are a lot of long-standing marriages, right? There are a lot, and even and I won't even talk about the quality of those marriages because it's not even about the quality of the marriage.
But people stuck it through.
Yeah, people stuck it through, even though they had issues. But you saw it in the community a lot, and so that's a picture of Prince Charming and Cinderella. There are no real pictures of that anymore. Like there is nothing new under the sun, like you say. And so some of the same stuff that is going on now was going on then. But a lot of times in my day it was undercover.
Right.
Right?
That makes sense.
And so it wasn't in your face. And so it wasn't a poster or a picture for us to ascribe to.
We can see everything now.
You can see everything now. And so in relationships, we were trying to get to that Prince Charming. We was trying to get to that, and I wish I had somebody other than Cinderella, but I just keep on Cinderella. We was trying to get to that person, and so we took our time trying to get there, right? And so we didn't have as a mindset, I can go through 15 or 20 of them before I get to the one, right?
Especially with how flat the world is.
Yeah,
now.
the world is flat now. I mean, like, shoot, if you don't like somebody in your town, you can talk to somebody in the town over. If you don't like somebody in that town, you can talk to somebody. We had to go out of town to meet somebody out of town.
Right.
It wasn't that easy for us, and so we dealt with what we had around us, and that not necessarily a bad thing, because even when if there was nobody in your town that you met that really did it for you, and you got out of town and you met somebody that suited your fancy, you knew, oh man, this is somebody that I've been looking for.
Right.
Right. But
Yeah, I
right
would say
now,
you
I
have
mean,
access to everything.
you got first of all, you got access to everything, and everything you have access to is not real.
Right.
And so you have so many people that are not authentic that you're falling in love with shadows of people, or falling in like with shadows of people. And then when you find out who they truly are, now I'm gonna hurry up and get out of this and swipe left or swipe right.
Right.
And so I'd say that's one of the major differences in our generations. There is nothing new under the sun. So we do go through the same things. It's just at the rate at which you all are accustomed to discarding things.
Yeah.
And because everything is out in the open, you all send representatives of yourself to relationships as opposed to sending yourself to relationships.
Real talk.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, cool. What are your thoughts on pornography?
That's on pornography.
Yeah.
Well, I would say my first thought is there's women out here.
Yeah.
Is my first thought.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely heard what's the word? Like conversations that people talk about, even with the last question we were talking about, and how pornography is detrimental to that relationship mindset. Because, like you said, things are out here, but they're not real.
Right.
Even that same thing. So I feel like it could be really detrimental to you seeing a relationship. Everything's about, all right, let's get to the act right now. And really, even in society, we're very heavily, let's get to the act right now in general as well. So I feel like pornography could be more negative reinforcement for that.
True. I like to be real, right? I like to be real. I don't know if I ever shared this story with you, but I had a experience with pornography, right? Experience, not about experience. And this is when I was in high school, and it was me and it was some of my type boys. We were at one of my type boys' house, and we were playing cards, right? And it's one of these days when we were out of school, one of these school holidays or whatever. Everybody's parents are at work. And so we sitting down, we playing cards, and then one of the dudes turned on some pornography. And so we sitting there playing cards and watching pornography. And then all of a sudden, everybody got the same idea. We need to find somebody to do this with, right? Which is typically what pornography is for. And the problem was we could not find anybody. And I mean, not like all of us looking for the same one person.
Right.
Like everybody was looking for somebody different. You know what I'm saying? But like it was nobody to be found. And so for me, I walked away from that experience saying, I don't want to put myself in a predicament where I've just watched something on TV and
It kind of makes you a fiend for it.
Right, it makes you a fiend for it. And I guess, that's interesting because that's how I've run my life, and that's how I've actually raised you. Like, if there's something that there is if there's an opportunity that you will become a fiend for something, I always tried to stay away from it, and I tried to keep you away from it. And pornography is no different. It's like, because of that experience in high school, I've never wanted to have anything to do with pornography. None of the magazines, the movies, or nothing. I mean, I just leave it on. Strip clubs, I've never been a strip club person. As a matter of fact, I can promise you, I've never been in a strip club in my life. In my life. I've had boys that went, but I've never wanted to go and never had a desire to go. So, yeah.
Yeah. Just connected to it.
Huh?
Okay, I read it. So our next question is, how do you think society will be post-corona? Then they have in parentheses, because the government already having problems with masks.
Government already having problems with masks. I don't understand that.
So basically, from my understanding, because I know who sent this question in,
Okay.
the government's already having problems enforcing masks.
Okay.
So how are we going to be? Because obviously, or I feel like it's obvious, life's never going to be the same. It's not going to be back to the way before. It'll be a new normal, but it won't just be back to normal, air quotes. And so how do we, like, after Corona, we get through that, we get to the better side of that, how will we be with, like, the new things that are enforced? Will people be going along with that? Like, what could the new normal look like? I think the question is.
So there's this saying, I got a friend that says this: pressure busts a pipe. Pressure busts a pipe. And I think we're under immense pressure during Corona.
Right.
And the one thing that we're finding out about ourselves and finding out about society is that we're self-centered.
Right.
We're self-centered. The one positive thing that I think comes out of Corona is OCDism. I mean, people becoming more cleanly. You know, I mean that's one thing.
It don't smell as bad.
Yeah. I think that it's gonna go a long way in, like, I mean, just say for instance hotels, right? I remember people doing documentaries on hotels where you go in the hotel and they don't really clean the rooms. You know what I'm saying?
But now you got to do all that.
Oh, but now you got to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know,
Which
you
is
going
really how it should have been before.
which is how it should have been before. Like, we're going above and beyond to clean stuff now, which is a great thing. That's a great thing. I think we need to start examining ourselves as a culture, because we only can exist, like, we can only exist if others exist.
Right.
Like, I mean, you see these zombie movies where, like, we're the last people on earth and we're miserable. Like Will Smith and I Am Legend, you know what I'm saying? Like, he end up talking to the dummies and stuff, you know. It's like, that's not a good way to be. And so, post-COVID, I think we're going to be more cleanly. I think people are going to start respecting people's personal space a lot more, because there was a time we got to a place where, I mean, people didn't respect your personal space. They all up on your neck, you know, and stuff when you know, in restaurants or talking and that kind of stuff. And I think that's going to be, you're going to be more cognizant
so you think
of that.
things like that are going to linger?
Huh?
You think things like that are going to linger?
I'm pretty sure things like that are going to linger. Yes, because because people are going to be afraid. I mean, people are going to be afraid. I mean, it's going to get to a point where, like, now people get numb to coronavirus. But I still think that they're associated, because you got people that are coming up that are younger than you, that are growing up in this environment. And that's all they're going to know.
Right.
And that's all they're going to know. And that's what they're going to ascribe to. I do think, unfortunately, that we have an inevitable divide in our culture based on coronavirus, because you got people that believe and the people that don't believe. And I think that those two camps are only going to become more and more entrenched. Go ahead.
It's funny. I saw something. Well, I've just been seeing things in general of people talking about how big of an impact this is going to have in this next generation, this generation that's growing up in this time, the babies that were born during this time, or like the toddlers that before they even got to go to school, now they're doing like the school online, stuff like that.
Yes.
How big of an impact that's going to have, because us, like my generation, as an extension of the generation after your generation, even in general, we're way less social.
Right.
As far as interaction in person, all that kind of thing. And just think about how even like farther that's going to push the envelope of isolationism.
Well, yes. Like, for the generation who's coming up, and that's all they know.
Right. Like for us, it'll probably be the generation directly after us, more so, where it's going to be like, all right, so we've been trapped. We couldn't go out. Now they're going to be fiending for social interaction. Yeah. You're going to have that generation, or you're going to have that kind of feeling in society. But then those people that, like, even breaking it down to three, for us, it's going to be, we want to be social, but we're a little bit kind of iffy about being social, because we were able to have this firsthand experience with understanding truly what's going on. Yeah. And then after us, they're going to know that we were doing things before and then it just got shut down. And now I just want to do that. I don't really understand exactly what was going on in that type of mindset. And then you have those that weren't privy to how things were before Corona fully. Right. And so they know it as the norm. And I think that's just going to be an interesting dynamic to see in general. Yeah. With these kind of three mindsets warring with each other.
So we don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Man, we got quite a few more. Let's see. Do you think it'll be higher emphasis on other things in the future, like following laws, mandates, etc.?
So this is like an extension of that last one.
Yeah. That, and I guess that's where I was going with the whole divide.
Right.
Because unfortunately, you have some people who just don't believe what we're going through is true. I mean, when coronavirus first hit and you start talking about people with 5G, and they were saying that it was 5G that was causing people to be sick. Then, you know, people reading the side of Lysol cans and saying COVID existed 20 years ago while we just, you know. Some people, I mean, just going to follow conspiracy theories down the rabbit hole. And so, and those people are going to look at laws. Like, I was listening to a news station today, and they were talking about one of the lawmakers, and they were saying that this particular lawmaker came out on Twitter and was saying that the government ought to pay people. The way they said it was the government ought to pay people to stay home. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't the spirit in which the lawmaker made it. Said it. The thing is, we don't want to go back into a government. We don't want to go back into a mandated shutdown. But something needs to take place.
Something got to
give. Something got to give. And so basically what this lawmaker was saying was if you want people to participate in voluntarily staying home, you have to make it so they can voluntarily stay home.
Right, that they can actually exist in that way.
Right. And so but this other news station, the way they were villainizing it was like, oh, they just want to pay people to stay. And they went as far as to say, and it got me because they went as far as to say that they are destroying people's work ethic. And when they said it, I was thinking, but if the people got work ethic,
I agree.
this ain't going to destroy it. You know what I'm saying? It may keep people from building the work ethic, but it ain't going to destroy somebody's work ethic because if you got to work, I mean, people that want to work.
And
it ain't like they want to stay home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to go.
And they find something to work on.
Yeah, right. And so it's like for me, like I'm accustomed to travel. Like, right. I mean, the airport was my thing. And I haven't been able to travel. It ain't destroying my work ethic because guess what? As soon as I'm able to travel again, I'm back on the road again. Right? Not that the government paying me to stay home other than what they, but I'm just saying, I don't think this is destroying our work ethic. And so I just think it's going to cause people to be more entrenched in whatever camp that they're in. Right. If they don't believe COVID is real and that kind of stuff and like it's manufactured by the government to control people's mind, they're going to buck the laws and everything.
And honestly, just in general, because we've been talking about the future, we really don't know what the future holds.
Right.
This is so different. Just thinking about this year, this is a monumental year for history. Yeah. A lot has happened this year. This is one of those, like, when you read textbooks and like the final, like the Great Depression,
2020,
or like
bro,
World War II, like those big things. 2020 is going to be one of those things, and we're living through history.
In 2020,
and so this is just kind of like a life-altering, life-changing event that we're all collectively going through. So just seeing how things go for here will be very interesting, I think.
I agree.
Next question.
It's for you.
Yeah, it was more for me. This one says, do you think that when you go back to Hampton, you'll act different knowing it's your last year and you've missed a whole year? It depends. Well, yes and no. It depends on, for one, the whole situation with COVID. Because I know they're talking about the vaccines and all that, but even with everybody getting vaccinated and all that type of thing, I think that wariness will linger for quite a bit, for not only me, but even other people. I definitely think there'll be more of an appreciation for myself for the things that I kind of took advantage of then because it was just a part of college life. And now I'm sitting here, I've missed, because I'm not going back to school next semester either. So I'm going to have missed 3 semesters of school because of COVID. And so just knowing, dang, I missed 3 semesters. Now I'm at the last 2 semesters of school. Everything, like even relationships with people and like things that only really exist in a college atmosphere. Those things will be much less taken advantage of. And even with the time, like college is such almost like a different time in life. It's a microcosm of life, but it's almost like a subset. Like the culture of college is different than the culture of life or the culture of high school. And so just taking time to really appreciate the culture of college before I'm out of it forever. So I feel like I'll definitely be kind of pressed to take advantage of everything.
I'm gonna throw something out there, and right. I mean, and what I'm about to say, I don't want to take away from what you're saying because I agree with what you're saying. Because like once you graduate from college, you're not gonna be able to reclaim that time. It's right. Done. My issue, and not with you and what you're saying, but one of my fears, because I work with college students. Right. One of my fears is that you won't try to take advantage of your senior year, but that you'll try to make your senior year, your junior year, and your second half of your sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
Because
so you won't treat senior year like senior year, you treat senior year like freshman year, really?
Right. And the problem with that is you can't roll back the clock. You missed that time.
Yeah.
And your senior year in college is transition time.
Yeah.
Like really, I mean, because you used to always complain about, man, you never see upperclassmen on campus. Right? Because upperclassmen about that business.
Right. They're about doing it. As a freshman, it's like, you don't even see nobody out here.
Right. And so the thing is, I want everybody who's listening to me, I want you to enjoy your time when you get back on campus, but also understand that you're still in transition because, you want to get your classwork because you want to graduate. And you can't graduate with the same mindset as if you were in your junior and your sophomore year.
This is really just going to be rough because I feel like campuses are going to be kind of crazy, kind of wild. because I was just talking to somebody maybe yesterday, the day before that. I think it was yesterday. We're basically gonna have two classes of freshmen.
Right.
Because we have the freshmen that just went through this year and they haven't experienced
Yep.
they haven't experienced life on campus, and then we're gonna have another class after that who hasn't experienced life on campus for one, but also they're coming off the tail end of missing their senior year of high school.
Yes.
And they're gonna be trying to reclaim that time. And then of course us like, dang, this is our last hurrah, all this type of stuff. So all of this energy is gonna be coming in and boosting each other.
Yeah.
Be
careful.
It might be wild.
Be careful.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
What skills / focuses do you think are most crucial to having a happy / content life? That's a good question.
What skills, focuses do you think are most crucial to having a happy?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Know your why, man. Know your why.
Oh, I mean, you can say that.
Oh yeah, you can say don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, but if you
just put that over my thing.
No, I'm sorry.
That is the ultimate.
Don't
answer.
sweat the small stuff. Yeah. Don't let stuff get you riled up.
Forget what I said. That don't matter. Know why you here. That's what the answer is.
No, but seriously, I mean, my thing is because you don't want to get caught up in a competition. Right? If you're talking about being content, you don't want to get caught up in a competition with outside people.
Right.
You want to get caught up in a competition with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to get caught up in a competition with yourself, you have to know your recipe. Know what you are made up of, and spend a lot of time really understanding what your makeup is and perfecting your makeup, and then realizing why you were made that way and what contribution you came to give, and then be about perfecting your recipe and giving your contribution. I think that's
the answer.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. All
right. Especially with the time like this, get to know yourself. Life moves so fast, we don't get to know ourselves. If you get to know yourself, just be reflective. These are my goals. This is what I feel like I'm here to do. All of that. And being happy and being yourself and content with who you are as a person. And you're not trying to compete with other people. You know what's mine is for me. I'm going to get that thing. They can go and get this thing, and that looks like that, and this looks like that. But what I'm doing is going to look like this. I think that's how you build that happiness, that feeling of content.
Yeah. Know yourself and to your own self be true.
Yes.
All right, cool. So we got two more, man. We're going to try to get them in.
Yup.
When do you know it's time to separate yourself from people close to you in pursuit of making yourself better? So
it's kind of you have something to say?
I do, but go ahead.
I was gonna say that even kind of comes down to a certain extent, like the question we answered about toxic relationships.
That was the first thing I thought, and then I went somewhere else. But go ahead.
So, and the point that I'm pulling from that is sometimes you just have to make the decision.
Yeah.
Because I think like seeing the signs is easy, but acting upon the signs is harder. And so like you'll see the signs where it's like, okay, we're not meant to have all relationships all the time. Some people are supposed to be in our lives for a time such as this.
A season, a reason, and a lifetime.
Yeah. And so sometimes you can feel that dynamic shifting, and I feel like it's easy to get caught up trying to claim that. Mm-hmm. We're really big people of reclaiming time. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you don't really want to let that go for fear of you don't know if I'm ever going to have another relationship like that or different kinds of things. And really it's just if you recognize it and it's like this could be to my detriment, sometimes you just got to make that decision. It doesn't mean you have to completely cut somebody off from your life, but maybe this is the person that now I just do this thing with them.
Right.
Or I just see them in this situation, but not make them my whole life situation.
I'll say goodbye, but don't say goodbye. No, it's not goodbye. It's goodbye for now.
Right.
It's not goodbye. It's just goodbye for now. My thing is you have to be about your business. Again, we were just talking about that whole, understanding what your why is and being about your why. And sometimes people run different from us. And I can tell you, like, my best friend, I'll tell people, man, me and my best friend, we grew up together, like, we was tight. I mean, just tight. After college, we went in two different directions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we talked once a year or so, but we went in different directions. And then 20 years later, 15 years later, we reconnected.
Right.
And so now we talk maybe 3, 4, 5 times a month. You know what I'm saying? But it took him going his direction and perfecting his thing, me going my direction and perfecting my thing without either one of us overshadowing each
You
other.
can come back in harmony.
Then we could come back in harmony, because if we would have stayed together, either I would have pushed more toward his side or he would have pushed more toward my side, and we would have never made it to where
Honestly,
we were trying to
you
go.
risk really just kind of ruining the relationship.
Yeah.
When you're trying to make something happen that's not supposed to happen right now.
Right. And so you just have to be mature enough to know that it's not goodbye, it's just goodbye for now. And I mean, we don't have to disenfranchise each other. We still cool. If you want to call me and kick it, we can kick it. But right now it's grind hour. And in grind hour, I'm grinding, you grind, and we moving. Right? But we can't sit and chill and grind because we ain't doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That was kind of cool.
That question?
No, the answer.
Oh.
All right. And the final one.
Which I also think is a good question.
All right. So answer it. Is it really okay to be selfish and look out for yourself when people around you aren't doing the best?
I think that is a great question.
Great question.
I think that's a great question.
Let me hear a great answer.
Yes.
Okay. It's
And
okay to
no.
be selfish. And no. Okay.
All right. And so I think the word is selfish. It's a big thing. But selfish was in air quotes. So in air quotes selfish, yes. In regular selfish, no. I feel like we should always be checking out for people and looking out for people and having compassion and seeing how we can help others. But then when there gets to that reason, like sometimes you have to look out for yourself.
Don't get drugged down.
Right, exactly. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor for
I got
this.
one for you.
You got one? Go
I
ahead.
got one. So I when I was younger, I took lifeguard lessons, and so one of the things that at the time I thought it was cold as I don't know what, but is what they teach you in lifeguard. At least that's what they taught you back when I was young. When you go out to save somebody, if they fight you, push them and you retreat. If they fight you, you push them and you retreat.
Right.
Because if they're fighting you, both of you all will drown.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so that was a good metaphor for me for life.
Perfect metaphor.
Yeah. So because the thing is, at the end of the day, we all want to be successful. We all want to be content. We all want to grow. We all want to move. At least that's what we hope. At least for those people around us. And so the one thing that this question did say at the end was, it says for around people who aren't doing the best.
Right.
And so the thing is, if you're spending time around people and they aren't doing the best and they refuse to do better,
Right.
I'll say that if they refuse to do better, push them and you move away.
That's what I was going to say, because you cannot be doing the best because you're a victim of circumstance, and then you cannot be doing the best because you're a victim of yourself and your tendencies and your actions. And I feel like you can only help someone who's a victim of their actions, but so much.
Right.
Before, like you can only help them so much, because at the end of the day, it takes something within you to help yourself.
That's right.
And you can be aided by someone else, but really you have to help yourself to a certain extent by having the right mindset, by doing the right things. And so if you're constantly giving, trying to, I'm giving myself, I don't want to be selfish, for a person that isn't going to be taking that same initiative, like as much as you're giving, they're not going to be giving that. Like if you give 50, they're going to give 50. If you give 70, they're going to give 30.
Yeah.
That's not the type of person you want to help, and that's no longer being selfless. That's aiding someone else to be selfish.
That's right. And so, and that's the thing. And I know, like for me, I'm real bad with that, because I used the term a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, willing vessel. Right? You got to be a willing vessel. I'm not finna fight you to do better for yourself. I'm sorry. I don't have that kind of time or energy. I'm here. Like, I'll be the first person to run to your aid. When I realize that you just want me to run to your aid, I'm not running to your aid anymore. Right? You're gonna have to get up and walk. And when you get up and walk, I'll walk alongside you until we trot. We'll trot together, then we'll run. But if it's time to trot and you walking, you can walk by yourself. Because here's the thing. I understand everybody needs somebody. I understand that. But more than that, we need ourselves. And we need ourselves to hold ourselves accountable for what we're up for. So,
yeah. I think that's that.
all right, that's that. So we made it through our list.
Yes, we did.
That was pretty good. That's pretty deep.
That. We'll probably do another one of these at some point.
Yeah, so if y'all got any questions, make sure y'all send them our way. But for now, it's the Bone Podcast.
Yeah, Bone Podcast.
Between you and me.
Between you and me. Holla.
Holla.